What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. It's the stream of the year. Oh my gosh, I can hear myself talking. That is the most mental thing. Right. Oh, no sound. Why have I got no sound? Oh, bruh. What the heck? Hold on a minute. I don't think that's charged. That is super annoying. Yeah, what's going on, everybody? Welcome in. Hope you're all doing well. Thank you for tuning in. Right, there we go. There you go. There we go. Right, let me just chuck this on here, and hopefully you guys can hear me all right. And something like that. There we go. Right, we're in. We are there. Hope you've all got your Christmas jumpers on. It's Christmas jumper stream. So we said we were going to do it. So there we go. And if you're on TikTok, by the way, I have a weird Santa on my head because I thought, well, why not? I mean, it's Christmas. So we're going to have a weird Santa on my head. Anyway, I hope you're all doing well. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is the last stream, probably before Christmas, all right? So I may or may not stream tomorrow night. I don't think so. But you never know. You never know. Stay close to social media because I might do. It depends. It depends how it feels. I've got a really long drive tomorrow to go meet back up with my missus and the kids and everything else. But we'll see, all right? We'll see. I've already been recording some content for you guys. That Santa thing is going to get super annoying after a while. Like, I keep looking over thinking something's there. Hold on a minute. Let me... Oh, bro, how am I going to turn... Can I even turn this off? Oh, what the heck? How do I do it? Anyone know? Oh, this is not good. Share. Is it this? Oh, I think it might be this. This. Okay, yeah, I think I got it. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so yeah. So this probably is the last stream before Christmas. And then I'll be back streaming on the 27th. Saturday the 27th. Yeah, Saturday the 27th. So I should be back live on that night. But I've already been recording some content for you guys to walk through some of the things for 2026. Again, we're going to have some content coming out. You'll also get, if you're excited, I don't know if you care, by the way, but I've recorded a little bit of a Christmas message for everybody as well. So that'll be fun. That'll come out on Christmas Day. So look, I'd appreciate if you would watch it. That'd be great. But, I just did something that I didn't need to do. Oh, come on, 2-Bit. Get your life together. But anyway, with that, let's discuss a little bit. I want to dive into something that's been on my mind now for a while. And something that I've been thinking about more and more that I feel like I think it's worth going into tonight. So I haven't really researched this. I thought we could do it live together. Always got a couple of points that I think I want to discuss, but we've all heard the narrative. RPM, you couldn't have timed your statement better. Everyone's heard the narrative right now of gold's going to the moon, platinum's going to the moon, copper's going to the moon, silver is breaking out to a brand new all-time high. I want to discuss and I want to get into the historic trend that happens when you talk about metals, when you see this move in metals, and how does that relate to then risk on? I'm not going to call it crypto. I'm going to call it risk on investing. And I think that's where I want to get to tonight. So we'll be discussing, we're going to be discussing US GDP, okay? What does it mean? Why all of a sudden is GDP in the US skyrocket? Remember, we talked about this last week. Global GDP expectation of 2.8%. So if you have got higher GDP than that, then essentially you are doing something. Your economy is expanding. It's good news, all right? Good news. So I want to dive into that. I want to dive into the historical patterns that we've got. I want to get into a little bit more of price predictions and things that are happening right now that have never happened before. And finally, is the reversal about to happen, okay? Are we going to see this conversion out of metals, out of risk off assets, and start to go into risk on assets? What do we need to look for? What's going to tell us that's going to happen? And all of that sort of stuff. All right, so pre-action-packed show as always. You know what we do here on this channel. We go a little bit deeper into what it is. It's easy to sit there and read the news. It means absolutely nothing. We go super deep on the macros. And if you are interested, then hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. It does obviously massively help out the channel. And yeah, welcome in, everybody. Hope you're all doing well. Grab a seat, relax, chill out. We're going to be here for the next hour and a half. Like, who cares tonight? We'll just be here for whatever time we're here, all right? And then we'll get into everything else. So, smash up the like button to a brand new all-time high. Let's take a look at the price of Bitcoin right now. And TikTok, you can do the same. So the price of Bitcoin is still consolidating. It's been a really funny old day today. Really, really funny old day. Everyone was talking about the Santa rally. It's the Santa sell-off, which is kind of interesting. I think what's super interesting, by the way, and I don't know if you guys have caught it, there was actually one coin that's been doing very, very well today that's been absolutely skyrocketing. At one point, it was over 120% up on the day. Which is wild. I don't know what it sits now. Bear me 1 second. Let me have a quick look, just because it's hilarious. It's 33% up on the day. Who would have thought that? Who would have thought it? Hey, 33% up on the day. That's morbid. I mean, it just had this absolutely like crazy pump, people just buying it. Like, who knows why? I mean, this market confuses me at the best of times, let alone doing all this kind of crazy stuff on that. But anyway, so Bitcoin did actually pull down 87,783. I'll talk a little bit about why that is. We'll get into kind of, I guess, the reason the market's pulled down and what this actually means. I think on a macro level, it's just a bit like, okay, we're just chilling. You know what I mean? We're consolidating in this range. We're just staying where we've been. Nothing particularly crazy has happened. And I don't think anything will happen probably till the end of the year, personally. I think it's going to be pretty quiet. But Crypto Princess says the same thing about metals. A lot of volume goes into metal over Christmas, but then converts into risk on assets just after Christmas Day. Well, there you go. Let's dive into it. Why isn't my phone bill, internet bill, water bill went up past 20 years? No increase, but almost everything else. Maybe you're using it less. I don't know. Maybe that's the answer. But yeah, Chipper Griff, what's going on? What's up, mate? Good to see you, about. Ho, 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 and down we go. Crypto for life. Yeah, I mean, it's only 0.9. It's not the end of the world. Not the end of the world, but yeah. Okay, so this is the price of BTC. We have seen a wick down. We did actually wick down all the way to 86,600. And the reality is, why did we wick down? Well, I have it here. This is why we wicked down there, by the way, just sort of jumping ahead a little bit, because I think this is important to then understand what we're going to talk about next. US consumer confidence fell to 89.1 with a significantly higher estimation of 91.7. Essentially, what does it mean? The level of consumer confidence in economic activity. How do they feel the markets are performing? How do they feel the economy's doing? And the answer is bad, right? That's kind of the sentiment. As much as, you know, Trump will say, we're creating the greatest economy in the history of the US, Scott Bessent could come out and say, hey, you know, GDP is absolutely skyrocketing. Consumer confidence right now is declining. Now, this also could be a 4D chess move in that obviously the midterms are going to be an important deal. Trump has to win them, etc., etc., etc. This could be suppress the market, push the market down, make people feel like the end of 2025 is bad. Like we all feel. I mean, you know, everyone feels like 2025 was a disappointing year for the crypto market. The reality is, when you look at where we went into this whole move, it's probably not the worst one, but it certainly doesn't feel like we're coming that well. And then, you know, midterms, and Trump just absolutely yeets the stimulus into the economy, and all of a sudden this kind of skyrockets. Nobody remembers the back end of 2025. Maybe that's the play. Who knows? We'll talk about that in a little bit. But as you can see, a lot of coins got nuked today. BTC down 87.6. It's been kind of consolidating between 86 and a half and sort of 87.5 really. ETH back below 3,000. XRP 188. Basically, a lot of coins down on the day with, you know, some, I guess, a little bit outperforming. Quant 76, Fetch marginally up at 2%, but nothing worth writing home about to the cows. Zcash, obviously we deep dived that a while back, still doing what I thought it would do, and then I assume this will fall off a cliff and just head down. Altcoin markets not looking particularly great. Bong down 1%, Pepe down as well. Some potential bargains, but probably not something that I would be diving all over right now. BTC has broken out of the descending channel. Has it? Has it? Are you sure about that? I feel like it hasn't. Trump tweeted he could always rise rates. Well, yeah, he also agreed that China's semiconductor market would be thing. What time frame are you looking at that on? Just out of pure interest, what time frame are you saying that Bitcoin has broke down from the channel? Because I don't see it personally, but anyway, so this is kind of where we sit right now. I just think BTC still consolidating within this range, still below the 20-day exponential moving average, and I've been discussing this now for a while, that this yellow line here on the chart, for me, this is the one we need to see break. The exponential 20-day moving average is the line we're looking for. So if we break this, then yeah, we might be in for some decent market moves to the upside. If not, then look, this is kind of where we sit right now, and we'll sort of have to play this market a little bit more where it is. So let's get into a little bit about what's going on with metals, and I think it's worthwhile because they continue to print brand new all-time highs. Gold 1.15% up again on the day, 44.94. That's an insane price. Silver 71.38 up 3.5%, as well as the S&P 500. The Nasdaq performing pretty well as well, with most of these actually doing pretty well. The bond market was pretty flat in fairness. But let's talk a little bit about gold, silver, and then I want to talk about the potential rotation and what we need to be certainly keeping a very close eye on to understand if that capital is going to rotate. Remember, this playbook is one that has been written every single day, and it certainly isn't a playbook that we can pull out of the Sports Almanac from Back to the Future 2, because it just isn't, right? It just isn't. But there are opportunities wherever there is. So yeah. Magic Craig, thank you for the gifted one membership. Thank you so much. Silver Days, welcome to the crew. Thank you for that, Craig. Appreciate it, my man. And Silver Days, welcome in. If you are in the Discord, let me know, and I'll give you access to that premium Discord where you get trade alerts, VC opportunities, and our full extensive guide on how to trade these markets, particularly in leverage. So if you're interested in that, let me know that you are in the Discord, and we'll get that sorted for you. So gold and silver are rallying. So let's understand why. Why are gold and silver rallying? That's the big question that I think is on everyone's mind. And I guess the big question that we probably need to look at to say, well, what is actually going on? And more importantly, what is coming next? So generally speaking, we see gold and silver as inflation hedges, okay? They are debasement currencies, i.e. they offset the decline in the dollar. And the easiest way to understand the decline in the dollar is to simply say $1 today, can you buy the same as what you had 10 years ago? For example, here in the UK, a chomp bar used to be 10 pence. They are now nearly £1. Therefore, my 10 pence that would have got me a chomp bar 10 years ago is not even going to get me 1/10 of, well, in fact, it would get me 1/10 of a chomp bar, which if you've ever been into a shop and said, oh, hey, can I buy 1/10 of a chomp bar? They're not going to let you have the chomp bar, okay? So it's important to understand they're alternative currencies to fiat. People hold them as a hedge. They hold them for long-term investments. And essentially, they are hard money. They are a physical thing that I can hold. It's tangible, and I can see it, right? So when you see metals rally, particularly gold, particularly silver as an example, what is it that is driving that market? Why? Well, there are risks to fiat, their real yields, and their monetary ease and expectations. Essentially, what you're saying is, I'm going to hold these particular assets because I feel the dollar is weakening. I feel trade is declining. And I actually feel that at the minute, I'm concerned about a decline in the economy. Irrespective of general movements in the market, gold, silver will kind of hold their own, really, right? They will kind of hold their own. So this is kind of important to understand where this is. Now, what does that mean in terms of chomp bars are a quid and a trip to the dentist? Exactly. But they're a quid, a chomp bar. They were 10 pence. It's like a Freddo. It's unbelievable. Anyway, so when we talk about gold and we talk about silver, where and how does this all align? And why is this relatable back to the crypto market? Because I think this is important. Remember, gold and silver are seen as risk-off assets. So they're safer investments. You're generally going to see less volatility. Even if you look at, say, something like gold's price, it's generally a much more smooth trend. Even a decline generally is a smooth trend. The Nike swoosh trend is pretty interesting as that comes up. So this is kind of important to reference and how this kind of works. The bigger question then is, how does this link back to the crypto market, and what can we expect in terms of movement? And I think that is also worthwhile. Now, if you haven't already seen my update video for Bitcoin, you should definitely watch that. It comes out at 11:30 every single morning. And again, it walks through some of the key things that I think you guys need to be aware of in terms of what is happening. And actually what we do see, and we can take this back over the course of probably the last 10 or 15 years, is generally speaking, gold moves first, followed by Bitcoin. There is a delay. The similar thing with, similar kind of thing with M2 supply. Okay, so with M2 supply, you generally see a delay. But I talked about this chart on my update video, and it's exactly what we've just been sort of discussing. So gold just hit a brand new all-time high, and history shows Bitcoin always follows with a lag. Remember, these markets are super liquid. People will just chase the momentum. While if you've got momentum in gold and silver and metals, people are going to go into there. But history tells us there is a rotation generally into BTC. Now, there are a couple of other things that are aligned. Again, I'm not going to say it's absolutely fundamentally just set in stone, but history tells that. So 2016, 2017, gold trended up first. Bitcoin still slow, didn't really do anything. Later, Bitcoin's accelerated hard. So that was the 2017 bull market cycle. Look at 2020 and 2021, QE started. So quantitative ease and the Federal Reserve injecting money back into the markets. Gold rallied. Kind of what's happening right now. Bitcoin still below its old all-time high. Didn't really do much. Stayed relatively stable for the vast majority of 2021. Followed by then, at one point, BTC went, right, we are full max sending. Adoption became a bit clearer. The Fed continued to print. Stimulus was put into the market. Cost of goods came down. And gold momentum weakened. BTC absolutely skyrocketed. So 2025, what are we saying right now? Well, the setup seems exactly the same. We actually see gold rallying as the Fed starts to ease the Fed injects quantitative easing. We see reductions in things like the repo debt. We see the debt, the $16 trillion debt potentially rolled over by the movement of the SLR, the statutory liquidity ratio, new measures. We talked about that about a week ago. So all of this is like good news. This is liquidity coming to the market, which we all know is a pretty important part. So what do we need to see? What's the pivot we're looking for? You are looking for a blow-off top on gold. You're looking for a blow-off top on silver, and then that start to push back down exactly as we've seen here. Look at the 2021 bull market, for example. Gold skyrockets, then consolidates, and then comes down, followed then by BTC starting to make a move afterwards. So you see gold moves up, consolidates down, BTC rallies up straight after it. So right now, while I think ever gold is moving up, expect pretty much chop in BTC. Expect it to kind of sit there. But history tells us that you can get blow-off tops, you get overhyped accumulation, and then that may play out into the markets. If people go make a fortune in gold, they may well come and buy meme coins. They might not as well, which is always worthwhile noting. But again, this is important to reference and then kind of how this plays out. So a couple of the key things that, would support that narrative is, things like this. So expectation of a relief rally on the head and shoulders pattern, and the next leg down at the point will begin to short BTC. So, if we don't get this pivot from gold, then we do need to be mindful of potentially where the head and shoulders print. Now, just truly speaking, head and shoulders should start to bounce back to the upside. Again, looking for a retest of that upper $98,000 mark, which we've sort of discussed before, and we've said a number of times here on the channel. Now, that is not all. Gold and silver are on track for their biggest yearly price jump since 1979. It's a massive year. Commodities are skyrocketing. S&P 500 doing a pretty good job. NASDAQ, all right, it's going to, doing all right. Dow Jones, it's all right. These are all pretty big numbers. But the fact that you are seeing this humongous pump and gold and silver price rising and record highs as geopolitical tension combined with bets on the US interest rate cuts to prompt a renewed jump in precious metals. Think about it. If Trump goes to war with Venezuela, then you are going to see, obviously, people just dump everything and try and go into gold. Gold is internationally recognized. You can use it all over the world. Bitcoin, we're not quite there yet. What's going on, Cheese? Good to see you, man. Welcome in. Gold's blow-off top has been going 20 years now. I mean, that's true. But you get my point. I mean, you could argue that Bitcoin's been going up ever since inception, but we all know what we mean. That kind of rotation that is. Tomatis, explain these markets like we're 5-year-olds. Do you actually want me to? I think I probably can, actually. I think I probably can. So again, this kind of gives us an idea as to where this sits. Now, what is also worth noting here is that you are seeing something that we generally don't see before. Metals are ripping higher. They continue to move and they continue to push higher. On this line here, the gold line or the gold marker is metals, essentially. The broad commodities index, the BCOM, is obviously skyrocketing near a 3-year high. The green line, obviously, is crude, and the blue line is soybeans. Now, you might be thinking, what the hell? Well, soybeans is coming down with the whole Trump thing and China. That was just kind of a real, geopolitical thing. What's super interesting here, though, is you've got oil starting to tick up, and you've also got commodities moving up. Now, oil, in theory, should be coming down. What does it tell us here? You have a direct link between the price of commodities, i.e. gold, silver, and oil. Why? Geopolitical macro tension. We saw exactly the same back when Ukraine and Russia kicked off. Look at this, 2022. I reckon you could get it pretty much bang on the money that you would see that kind of move again on the Ukraine-Russia war. So you see exactly two things. When geopolitical tensions are at their highest and most concerning, you generally see people dumping into gold. You generally people going into assets that are relatively easy to move and are tangible as a thing. Tim coming in with 5 gifted. Thank you so much. Man, I feel like a Twitch streamer. Thank you so much, Tim. I appreciate that. Hey, welcome everybody. Look at that. You all just got gifted a membership by the none other than Mr. Tim Share. Tim, thank you so much, man. You deserve everything and more this Christmas, buddy. Thank you so much. Keep holding strong and hold on. Keep holding strong and hope you're not holding your XRP in exchange wallets or cold wallets. Well, I mean, that's definitely something for a different story altogether, isn't it? But you're probably not right. Sorry, you're probably not wrong, in fairness. But welcome in, by the way, on TikTok. Don't forget to tap the screen. That would be absolutely appreciative. But yeah, if any of you guys are in the Discord, just type in the general chat and we'll get you added into the premium Discord, obviously for channel members, which gives you a little bit more. If you are interested, by the way, head into the bottom of the screen, click that join button or subscribe here on TikTok and we'll get you access to that premium Discord server. Again, the Discord is totally free, link in the description or my profile. Okay. So look, I think this is important to reference this, that we are definitely seeing a macro geopolitical tension, which is driving commodities and driving gold higher. If you are a trader or an investor, you don't care about what's going on. You care about whether you're making money and you care about whether the price goes up or price goes down. Are you longing or are you shorting the market? All right. Now, at a macro level, I don't know if you guys have seen this, right? I don't know if you've seen this, but at a macro level, you have got massive OG whales long on the market, right? long on the market, which is pretty interesting. And I think this is certainly playing out way more than we've seen. BTC leverage is building. Now, we know that leverage has kind of hurt us, and probably one of the big reasons why we're seeing such a NAF decline right now. But it is fair to say that BTC futures on perpetual funding rate is moving up. 23 billion options expire December 26. But people are longing BTC. They might not be longing it with big leverage, and we'll take a look at that in just a minute. But essentially, you are definitely starting to see yet again another build-up in liquidity, another build-up in potential leverage, and I guess, look, we've got to say it, a potential unwind in leverage as well. But hey, that's for a different video altogether. So the fact that we have all of this aligning is actually a pretty interesting bit. Now, what does this relate back to the crypto market, and how are we going to do it? Well, we need to see the decline in commodities, okay? So metals rally are more bullish for BTC when real yields are falling. So when we see growth coming down, particularly with bonds and treasury yields, that's good news. When the dollar is weak and the DXY, another thing you need to be mindful of, it's down 0.3. It's coming down a little bit, nothing super crazy. We need to see the DXY start to come down. Look at this on the weekly. Go back to 2021. What are we seeing? A super weak dollar, and then it pushed back up as the end of the bull market comes in. So again, we're looking for a push down in the DXY index. This will once again tell us that potentially a move is about to come. Liquidity is expanding. How do you expand liquidity? The Federal Reserve injects capital. Trump injects stimuluses. Think about this one, and I've not really been thinking about this, but I think it's important to reference. We need to check this. How much money will no tax on tips inject into the US economy? So this is a really interesting point, and I actually have a video that I'm researching at the minute that I want to bring out, because this could be one of the biggest injections of liquidity into the economy that we've seen for ages. Think about this. If you have tax on tips, you essentially take that money and you put it into the tax fund, which can go anywhere. If it goes into people's pockets, they may go buy meme coins, altcoins, Ethereum, BNB, who the hell knows what they're going to buy. But again, this could be pretty good news as the markets kind of push a little bit higher. So the expectation, by the way, federal government tens of hundreds of billions of dollars over time deducting tax on tips would cost. Pretty interesting. Now, the Joint Committee on Taxation projects that the provision for the current form will reduce federal revenue by about $32 billion over 10 years. So we could argue and say essentially tax on tips is worth $3.2 billion in the US per year, assuming you don't have an economy and a service industry that's expanding. So again, when you start to sort of walk through that, liquidity coming into the market is going to be super, super important, right? And then monetary debasement, weakening dollar, people shitting themselves, everything's going to go to zero, massive tariff news again, like all of this stuff will essentially drive metals higher. What we want to see is way more stable pricing, way more stable Fed reserves, interest rates coming down, and I think geopolitical nervousness down as well. This is going to be important, right? So think of if we just summarize it, like think of it this way. Metals going up supports a macro signal of uncertainty in the market, right? They increase the probability of BTC moving down. It's not, however, the most dependable, but it is a pretty good rule of thumb. Gold up, generally speaking, BTC goes up, but it's delayed, okay? So that's why we might see this kind of chop that moves through, okay? So that kind of gives you a bit of an idea as to kind of where we are, and I think how all of these markets do play out. Now, there are some other things to note here, that essentially, are we about to see the top? Now, I did a video earlier on today on my channel talking about the bottom, right? Is the bottom in for the market? How do we even know that the bottom is in? And I think these are some of the key things that you could technical analysis the price of Bitcoin all day long. I think whatever there is manipulation in this market, you almost can't tier the markets because it's just not true. So again, if you haven't already seen it, go over here, dead simple, click on videos, and this video here, crypto, the next move is obvious, bottom is in, right? Watch this video, okay? This is super interesting in my opinion, and yeah, I'm putting loads of hard work in my videos. I feel like I'm getting less views on them, but I'm getting more people watching for a longer period of time. If you do enjoy it, by the way, leave a like, drop a comment, all that good stuff. That would be greatly appreciated. But watch this, because again, this talks about maybe why the bottom is in the market. And the assumption would be then that, if I get the right chart, that potentially we've seen this back over a number of years, where when we see silver with a high monthly close and we see a number of months up in a row, then we see a blow off top. This could be the point in which it changes, and it could be the point in which we see capital rotation coming out and going, I'm not going to say going into the crypto market, but it could go somewhere. So again, you can see here that when we saw silver boom, these were obviously indications that the market was then going to pull back and head into a decline for a period of time. Silver right now, whether you like it or not, and people might think I'm a chopper, is hugely FOMO macroed up. That's just my opinion. Casey, thank you so much, man. Appreciate it. Hyperinflation kicking in. Yeah, RPM, you're not wrong. Hey, 2-Bit, Merry Christmas, legend, to your fam and YouTube fam. Yeah, Brandon, thanks, man. I appreciate it. I'm wearing my Christmas jumper this evening, everybody. Look, this is, I think it's fair to say, but I am officially chilling with my snowmies. That's you guys tonight. The 2-Bit snowmies, all right? That's you guys. Bring on 74K. Oh, come on, Matty G. Come on, bro. I mean, could go 70K. Just buy the shit out of it. Right. So again, this is where silver sits. Gold is pretty much the same as well. Look at this. All-time high past 2 years. Gold skyrocketing. And generally speaking, when we hit a new all-time high, what happens? Well, we see a pullback. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but the argument could be, is gold, silver, overvalued right now? And if you look at it versus the price of BTC, you could say, well, yeah, maybe, just maybe, that could be true. So again, think about those things. So that should give you a little bit of food for thought as a macro side of things to say, well, okay, what's happening and how does this play out into this market, right? Why do you call it a jumper? Because it's a Christmas jumper. What do you call it? A sweatshirt. I'm not sweaty though. A sweater. Yeah, but I'm not a sweater though. I am cool as ice. I don't know what that was, by the way. I have no idea. But yeah, it's not a sweater, is it? Doesn't even make any sense. I mean, technically, I guess a jumper isn't. But when you put it on, okay, let's just move on, right? Let's move on. I'm short since 116. Glad I didn't listen to the Moon Boys. I only watch a Gris Pure a Gris Pure tier channel. Yeah, I have no idea. Thanks for deleting that. I don't know what that means. Okay. So again, this is kind of important to understand. This could also indicate that the markets are going to go way further down. All right. So we do need to understand that. And actually, if you remember what was our price predictions for a bear market, if we were to look at this, I think we were probably not far off, Matty, what you were saying, in fairness. We were saying anything between so anything between 59,000 and 72,000. Bit of a range, but about 12K. So, right now we are holding the 0.382 Fibonacci 86. If we lose it, 72.6 would be the 0.5. So, again, that's kind of what we're looking at as a potential mover in the market. So, that kind of gives you an idea as to where we go. Just in my opinion, all right? So keep your eyes peeled on that one. Certainly on the weekly candles. We did discuss this on a slightly more macro or micro level here on BTC, but look, that's kind of where we currently sit right now. So, given the fact that we saw consumer confidence come down, people obviously a little bit nervous about where the market's going to go. It is interesting at the same time, though, we are seeing US GDP start to move up. Okay. The question then is, why did the GDP for the US move up today? What was the driver? Now, Trump's come out and said, well, it's tariffs. It's the fact we got, loads of money in the tariffs. So the economy did actually grow significantly with projections of us seeing a big one. This was a big deal, by the way. This was way above what people thought. Like 3.3 was the expectation. 4.3, we came in a whole 1%. 1% came in over the course of GDP, right? Which is kind of interesting. So what was it that's driven GDP growth? Exports, government spending boosted the output. So again, exports specifically from the US. You could argue and say maybe that's an indirect result of tariffs, but essentially that's kind of what it is, right? So you saw this boom equally at the same time. Don't forget, due to the recent government shutdown, you actually got a delay in GDP. And we said this last night, if you remember, we said PCE may come in pretty bad. GDP may actually come in good because there's no data. We're going data that's old. We haven't got any new data. But essentially what it is, rebounding exports, solid government spending, however you like it, whether you hate Trump, don't like it, whatever, right? He's actually done a pretty good job in terms of that. And lower imports. We're importing, I'm in the UK. Lower importing, right? So you're trying to do a lot more where it is. What's going on, Toxic? Good to see you, man. Way more here, right? So this is why you saw this kind of GDP move. I think it's a little bit of a false narrative, if I'm dead honest. and therefore I expect probably a pretty big decline in GDP depending on what seasonality kind of looks like. But, this kind of gives you a view. I guess you could argue and say, well, if GDP growth is going up, in theory, this should be good for the ISM, the manufacturing data. It should allow companies to expand. There should be a demand and growth. Could all play out, as I've been talking about, potentially for a 2026 rally. Could. And I think it's important to just be like, it might not. I know that's probably properly on the fence, but again, worth noting, I think, as we sort of walk through that one. So pretty interesting that. Now, obviously, we talked about consumer confidence. We don't need to go into that too much. This, I thought, was a super interesting chart, and I thought it was definitely worthwhile. Timothy Peterson saying Bitcoin's current setup mirrors late 22 with December weakness potentially giving way to a post-January 7th rally if the season does repeat. Okay, why would the season repeat? Well, we always talk about the fact that Bitcoin generally doesn't, we don't repeat ourselves, but we often rhyme. I think that's something we've sort of discussed and something that's said a lot, that history doesn't repeat itself, but it does often rhyme. And I think, look, the same is absolutely can be said right now when it does come to BTC. We do know as well, by the way, Bitcoin is on track for its worst Q4 since 7 years, negative 30%. We only had 2019, which was worse, 2018 and 2016. They were 3 worst years. So this will be the 4th worst year or quarter in history for BTC, which is pretty interesting. But actually, when you look at it more of a monthly standpoint, history tells us that December is actually bearish. So we're probably in track. Negative or median average is negative 2.85. This obviously takes out top bottom rather than the actual just average number, which is just the number, added up divided by how many. So 2.69, not the worst. This is probably what we're interested in. January, strictly speaking, is generally a good news and a good month. So we could start to see that start to break back to the upside. But you can see here that this plays out kind of what we've been talking about. And then January, we start to get this move. And then potentially we see this kind of rally. Is it going to play out again? Who knows? All right. Who knows? But there's a lot of arguments. If you align it to a lot of positive news, maybe it comes in. Equally, we had the Goblin Town and everything just goes zero. And it's like, what happened? But yeah, Bitcoin also hitting a new golden cross. Again, look, I'm less bothered about this kind of stuff because I think it's super easy to be like, oh, well, let's just find a chart that tells us this is the narrative that we want to spin. But at the same time, we have seen rallies on the back of golden crosses before. And I do believe that even if you're a firm bear, you believe in the bear market and you wholeheartedly are like, bro, you just talk too much nonsense. We're in a bear market. You would expect a relief rally in a bear market. Always happens, always has, probably always will. So again, it's just worthwhile noting that we could see a further upside push. And I thought what was worthwhile just to see how well people did deliver. Because obviously, if you remember, I talked about the fact that I thought October was going to be the market highs. I actually predicted the 22nd of October would be when Bitcoin did top out. Everyone called me crazy. Everyone said I was not right. And even people on the channel were betting me Ethereum that I was going to be wrong. Turns out I was about as right as most. And I thought it was worthwhile checking where other people got. So your KuCoin research, they were miles off. They said could peak around 250K in 2025. Nowhere near. Tom Lee said BTC could reach 250K. He failed as well. HC Wainwright, miles off. Matrix Port, miles off. Bitwise, 200K in 2025. No. All right. Lots of people went deep, went big, and missed. And I think if I remember rightly, my prediction on actual value is anything between 150 and 170, I think I said. So I was a little bit out. All right, I was 25 G's out, but yeah, not the end of the world. But most people that predicted it were wrong. Now, here's the narrative that I want to talk, and here's kind of just my view on this. How can some of the biggest corporate hedge funds, asset managers, digital marketeers, and banks and institutions be so wrong? How can they be so wrong? How can the entire research team at KuCoin be wrong by $120,000? How can Galaxy Research be wrong by $30,000, $40,000? How can so many of these huge hedge funds, corporate hedge funds that do this for a living be wrong? Well, something has to have changed. Something has to have been different in the market. Restrictions in liquidity. The fact that we saw tariffs that we've never seen before while the crypto market's been where it is. The fact that you got October the 10th now proven to be the most manipulated day in the history of cryptocurrency. And in fact, worse than FTX, worse than Terra Luna. I've got a video coming out about that pretty soon as well. That was the most crazy day that we've seen in the market. So ask yourself this one question. Were all of these people wrong? or were they just out by a year? That's the big question, all right? That's the big question. That's certainly what we've been talking about. So we will see, and we will obviously get into what that looks like. Certainly as the new year comes in, we'll obviously do the streams. I actually think I will be live on New Year's Day, New Year's Eve night, by the way, because obviously we've got the kids, so I don't think we're doing anything. So I may be live on New Year's Eve. So if anyone's about for a bit of a party on New Year's Eve, maybe we can party. Maybe we can go on TikTok as well and do like a bit of an after party with some tunes on. That'd be kind of fun. Maybe we should just stream New Year's Eve. Like, why not? So yeah, this is kind of interesting. So let's come back, which is always good, and summarize exactly kind of what we talk about. I think this is worthwhile. So the fact of what we're looking at right now is still a bearish pattern. Okay, we can't deny it. Let's not kid ourselves. Let's not get into a weird echo chamber of be like, no, but you're wrong. Like, this is fine. Okay, this is not fine, right? We are definitely in a very bearish trend to the downside. Now, what is important though here is that we could see a break above this line. In fact, we could see a break within the next 48 hours to retest some of these lines. I don't necessarily think Bitcoin's going to break out and all of a sudden it's like, here we go, bull market's back on, get ready for 2026, baby. But you've got this downward sloping trend line, which essentially is interjecting with the 20-day exponential moving average, which tells us that these, I don't know what's wrong with me tonight. This is going to be a high point of volatility. A break above this could actually signal a retest of 92,800. Maybe we get it tomorrow, maybe we get it the day after. Maybe not. Obviously, it's Christmas Day, so we'll have to kind of wait and see. Historically, December the 25th has been a pretty bearish day. Boxing Day, though, that's been pretty good. So, but what we actually need to see, though, if we want to support this narrative is we do need to see gold start to come down. We do need to see silver start to come off this blow-off top. We need to see things like the DXY continue to fall down, the Russell Index start to chill out, and much, much more, particularly Treasury bonds. Again, we want to see them go red. Basically, where you want to be at is anything that feels like it can make appropriately better returns than Bitcoin can, we need to see that go down. So no one wants to get 4.16% on a 30-year Treasury, and then they're going to go and buy Bitcoin that at the minute is in a downtrend and is 33% down from its all-time high. Nobody's interesting, right? Nobody's interesting. So we'll kind of see where we'll see where we kind of get in there. But I think there's some of the key things to look at a macro level. If you haven't watched my video that talks about 4 reasons why the market may push in 2026, go and watch it. New Federal Reserve Chair, liquidity, that SVL ratio SLR ratio we've been talking about, bank infrastructure, all of those things could play out favorably. What's the one big thing that I think we should be watching right now is what is going on in the commodities market, but at the same time, what is going on in the general stock market price, because I think until that does anything other than stop going up, we're probably not going to see much happen in the crypto market. Just my opinion. So yeah, they need to be sacked for getting it so wrong. I mean, can you imagine? I mean, Tom Lee, don't forget, is literally like loaned like $250 million, bought more Ethereum, currently holds something like 3 million Ethereum, and is like 35% underwater. Imagine that. So Tom, how have you got on with spending our $400 million? Well, let me tell you, it isn't as bad as the balance sheet reads. Well, Tom, the balance sheet here reads that you've lost $75 million in about 6 months. Is that true? I mean, kind of, but it's fine. I just keep buying the dip, but it keeps dipping, bro. So yeah, what's going on, Vern? What's going on, bro? So yeah, I mean, pretty interesting. I like 2-bit and Doctor of Pump for tier. Doctor of Pump and Dump uses Elliott Wave theory along with other oscillators. Yeah, I'm not super up to it on... I'm not super up to on Elliott waves. I'm really not. They confuse me. And by the way, I don't. Thanks, Vern. I don't profess to be. I'm gonna get snowballed in the face. I don't profess to be any kind of super guru on technical analysis. I guess just trying to learn what happens and learn what sort of goes on. But yeah, bro, I know. Have you seen what the Lunk community is doing? I'd say it's gonna pump soon. They are meeting with the SEC soon after a new year, and the SEC has agreed to hear it. Wow. Well, I know. Is it 15 years? Duquan got. I feel. Bro, I know, I just won't look at smaller time frames right now. The 3-month chart is as low as I would go. Volatility. Yeah, I mean, the story, imagination, it's not a bad idea, really. I mean, I don't particularly like the statement of, look, if in doubt, zoom out, because I always think it's a little bit of a cop-out clause. But you are right in that if you're holding assets for long-term, short-term volatility is kind of, it is what it is. I've been saying this now for at least the last, man, Casey, thanks so much, man. Thanks, you guys. I've been saying this for probably the last 4 weeks now, that the longer we consolidate, in my opinion, the more likely an upside move is versus a downside move. And I think if you go through history, generally speaking, this plays out. You look at this consolidation phase here. We talked about this yesterday. This was about a year long here. And then we obviously saw the move. Now, we are slightly not, we're not quite there yet. We're well at 35 days versus, what was here, which was, the best part of 56 days before that kind of moved back to the upside. But generally speaking, consolidation does result in an upside move. We haven't generally seen, at least, for the last while, a push down in the markets. Yes, if we're in a bear market, you'd expect us to come down. I think that's what's different right now. You could argue and say we are still technically on a super macro uptrend. For me, it's whatever move happens from this point is going to depict where that is. If we were to push down, my view would be, okay, we need to brace, because I think a bear market's coming. And certainly the debate would be, though, that because the high wasn't as big, the low shouldn't be as big. And I think that's probably another key thing to think about as we go into that. BTC is going to 95k. I still think we'll get a relief rally for sure. Is it a bad idea to give myself a 2-bit haircut while drunk? No, I mean, I just do it RPM. I do these myself. As you can probably tell, what I can say, it's smooth. This is a replay of April 25. The fractal is the same. Yeah, lots of people discussing that. Or late 2024 as well, that people believe. Tommy's on CNBC every day pumping his stuff. I mean, that is true as well. That is true. Get more bullish than crazy hair, Tom Lee. Why not? Why not? We rally after 63k bitty in end of Jan, mid-Feb. Man, 63k is wild. I'm curious if Raoul Powell's theory comes true. You'll know by the end of February if that comes true. So Raoul Powell's view, and I've been studying quite a lot of what Raoul Powell's been doing, actually. Obviously, look, that guy's on a different level to me. Corporate hedge fund, manager, very successful. But yeah, I've been kind of studying a lot of his work. I've been listening to loads of his podcasts. I've been trying to really understand his train of thought. And by the way, one of the things we're definitely going to do, and I will just chuck this out there, and I think it's definitely worthwhile being in the Discord for this, that I want to do potentially some kind of economics course in the bear market. So last time we did a technical analysis course, we paid for 12 people to do the technical analysis course. We probably will do something with economics next time and really get into that. I think that'll be a good thing to have. Certainly as this market's now evolving a little bit more from just, buy a meme coin, see what happens. But yeah, he's really focused in on liquidity, which is kind of why I've been doing a little bit on it, because I do think there's definitely something there. But this ISM, this manufacturing expansion is a really interesting topic. And my only hesitation with saying, well, I think the ISM is the be all and end all, and an expanded ISM above 50 is going to show that market expansion is here, and this is going to be great news, is you have this sort of AI narrative coming in over the top, which essentially will drive profits into companies because it will reduce labor cost. And those two things are pretty interesting. You've got the federal end trying to drive labor markets up, while at the same time, corporate entities are going to be gaining more profit by simply redoing AI. The best example I could give you would be, say, things like digital artists or graphic designers. Like, you can essentially use an AI to create the same sort of thing as a graphic designer could do, fraction of the cost in a short period of time. And I think if you were starting to do things like that and you have AI as like a corporate thing, you could get rid of the graphic designer and all that kind of stuff. So I do think that's kind of where it's going to get pretty interesting with this. And I think this is where we need to watch for 2026. And if we get manufacturing expansion, because I kind of don't necessarily feel like we're going to get it, but who the hell am I? Do you know what I mean? I'm just a bloke here from God's own county, Yorkshire, that talks about cryptocurrency. It's the April 8th wick that has me cautious. We have filled every wick so far. April 8th has yet to be filled. Just clarify my reason. Okay, I like imagination. Man, I like it. I love it when people have got different views, thoughts, opinions of this market. That's what makes this channel, makes this community super cool and way better than any other channel out there, because we enter in discourse through the live streams that hopefully we all come out of the lives and go, yeah, do you know what? That's interesting that imagination said on the channel. I'm going to check that out. So bullish on you. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. Don't forget, by the way, if you haven't already, give us a quick thumbs up on the channel. Likewise, if you're here on TikTok, don't be afraid to tap the screen. Obviously, don't go too hard. You'll push your phone over, but it does help out the channel massively. And like I said, I appreciate you guys certainly taking the time out to come and hang out with me. If you do have any questions, thoughts, opinions, views, whatever it is, let us know. I'm dead curious. I more want to see what you guys believe in what's going on in this market. Okay. Good. So that kind of takes us through a little bit on the macro side of things. It takes us through a little bit around commodities. I think if anything gives us a few things to think about over the course of the next, over the course of probably the next week or so. I mean, you'd argue not a lot. Dave-O, thank you so much, man. You'd argue not a lot is probably going to coming over the Christmas period. I don't believe so. There may be a little bit of a relief rally on Christmas because I think there'll be very low liquidity. There'll be very low trading volume. So you're like, well, maybe it's kind of going to be okay. But I think once we start to look to 2026, I do believe we get a rally into 2026. So I think people will feel optimistic about 2026. People will be like, hey, there's an idea that this is actually going to be good news. So, I think that's kind of where we'll get a bit of a relief rally. At the same time, though, we absolutely could get another massive amount of liquidation. Remember what we said. Longs are building right now. Leverage is building yet again. This all could get super flushed out in January. Just another, attack on the cryptocurrency markets and I guess equity markets as well. So look, we'll have to kind of wait and see how it plays out. That's smart thinking. Think like an accountant, account for every cent. Yeah, look, exactly. Yeah, that's the way to do it. That is the way to do it for sure. Good. All right. Let's take a quick look at pre-markets. Probably is worthwhile checking out, particularly for the Asian markets. They were pretty rough last night. They dumped pretty aggressively. They dumped pretty aggressively. So S&P 500 rallied to a new all-time high today. That's insane. Why is XRP digital disappointment? Also, there will be no big expansion come January. That is just hopium. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I'm confused. Yeah, I don't know. Okay. You might have to rephrase that question because I'm not sure what it means. So pre-markets on the Dow, the S&P 500 look open a little bit. NASDAQ look like it may rally, which is interesting. The Russell looks like it's down. The Hong Kong Stock Exchange, the Nikkei, Shanghai, all pretty flat. No surprise there. And then you get a little bit, look at commodities, by the way. Look at this. Silver looks like it's going to have another big open on the markets. Gold looks like it's going to rally. Gold. Look at natural gas. Oh my God, natural gas is going to go crazy. So pre-markets look like they're going to be pretty interesting. VIX says it's coming down as well. So you're going to get less volatility in the S&P 500. Commodities, though, might absolutely max full send. So, that might be something just to keep your eyes very much peeled on because, yeah, that could end up being pretty tasty tomorrow. So, yeah, that's kind of where that sits. I mean, I'd like to see BTC rally a little bit. I mean, not super crazy, but, I mean, look at that retest on this wick down, by the way. Pretty interesting. Do you think there will be any kind of rally in January or it's just hopium? I think, so my view will be, I think there will be broad hopium in the market, right? So I think people will get into this narrative of saying 2026 may start well, okay? People will get to 2026 and think, right, we've got stimulus coming, Fed cuts coming, new Fed chair coming, all of this good news. So I think early January might run the markets because people will think we've got a bigger push to come. I think the risk is leverage. And let's take a look at where we sit with leverage. Because if you've got big leverage build into January, they will liquidate it. Like, it's a playbook as old as time right now. You think about Beauty and the Beast, and you think about that rose with those petals that fall off. That is essentially the liquidity markets. Once we see it build up, what happens is the beast comes and says, hey, I'm tasty. I fancy a little bit of that liquidity, and I'm taking it all. And that's essentially what could happen. And we can see that by where liquidation levels are starting to build. So I think we could expect a little bit of relief movement in the market. I think we could absolutely expect a little bit of a push up, but I also think leverage would be a risk. And we can take a look at that. We can almost see what the 7-day forecast looks like on leverage right now. This is the current leverage position on BTC. And what you can see already is the orange is the high leverage. This is the 100x leverage positions. And again, you roll down. Look at this. Look how much leverage on the 100x positions are there. That's pretty wild. And then you look down at 50x leverage on the short side. So people are expecting certainly a potential rally to the market. I mean, there's way more downside risk than there is upside risk. So yeah, we'll see. We will see. Badger says, you are a great teacher, 2-Bit. Thank you for that. Happy holidays to you and your family. Great live stream. Like button smashed. Happy holidays, everybody. I will. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. Don't forget the like button. I'm here 6 days a week, every week, breaking it down, bringing you it. So, man, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate all the kind words. Man, we've been getting some really nice words recently. Lots of people have been giving some really good compliments about the show. So, look, I hope you guys are enjoying it. I can see it in the metrics, by the way. So, again, we're like knocking in, well over 1,000, nearly 1,300 views every single live stream, which is super, super bullish. So thank you all so much. And, keep the vibes coming and equally keep the feedback coming. I think it's important. We normally have a pre-Christmas rally, not this year, which could then play out into potentially a post-Christmas rally. Remember, we've always dumped at Christmas. Are terms like extended cycle or 5-year cycle or super cycle just synonymous for bear markets? No, I think, My view on those is they're hype analogies. I mean, think about it. An extended cycle is essentially a 5-year cycle. Them two are basically the same thing. And a super cycle refers to, I mean, it essentially just refers to, because people don't refer to the 2021 bull market cycle as the 2021 super cycle. It's just the bull market cycle. I just think they're all just narratives of expressiveness. That's my view. But extended and 5-year are the same thing. The debate and the Raoul Pal thing, that's why it's interesting, is that he, his thesis will be proven wrong if we don't get a market rally in January, February. Like, it will be proven wrong. Liquidity's coming into the market. It's not QE, but it's whatever the Fed said it was. I can't remember what it is. So if we don't see that, then, you would probably be in a world of saying, yeah, 26 is going to be pretty rough. Let's come back in, October time. Davo, thank you so much for the gifted. Future Profit, welcome in, man. Thank you so much for that. Man, you guys have been crushing it tonight. Thank you so much, everybody. Really appreciate the gifted. And welcome to all the new members. So head on over to the Discord. Let us know that you are in there, and either myself or the mods will get you into the private Discord. Please just say in the general chat. Don't DM anyone. It is not me that is DMing me. I don't DM people in the Discord. Have the best holidays. Anyone can have people. Love, peace, and watch your wallets. Yeah, Joe, bro. Thanks, man. Thanks, man. I can't believe it's like Christmas. I can't believe it's Christmas Day, like in 2 days' time. That's absolutely wild. So, yeah. Timmy, why do you think so many institutions got crypto wrong in 25 tariffs? I mean, the way I would think about it this way, Beebs, and I think you have to detach yourself from an institutional investor because they're so different. And if I can kind of relate to it a little bit in that if I think of my personal investment, so when I look to get into a coin, I'm looking for that entry point. I'm looking for the best price I can get. I want to try and grab an edge. That might be I wait for a dip in the market. That might be if I can get a discount by doing something on an exchange, I might do it. At a corporate or institutional level, it's different. They're like, okay, I want to be in on that, and I don't really care how much it costs. They're just like, I want to be in. So I think you've got to look at it in one of two ways. Would institutions be disappointed where they are right now? No, because they're in it for the long run. And I think this is a very different way of looking at it. And if you argue that essentially you were able to DCA, and I know some did buy the top, but think about when IBIT launched. Think about what that looks like at DCA. And I don't think we can officially see the price. I'd be super interested if we could get the average price on the BTC that's in there. So I don't think they'll be disappointed. The other reason why I don't think they'll be disappointed is I think they're part of the reason we've seen so much manipulation in the market. If you're an exchange, think about this, right? Think about this. And this is why I would be in that world of saying, well, I don't think they care. We saw Bybit hacked for an insane amount of money. What was the number in the end? 4 billion or something? Bybit hack. What was it? Anyone remember? What was it? $1.5 billion, right? $1.5 billion. Bybit, $1.5 billion. They stopped withdrawals. They stopped the fact people could get their money out. Now, no one cares that happened. Bybit never talk about it. It's never referenced again. They're like, yeah, whatever. So hold on a minute. So a company, a cryptocurrency exchange, lost $1.5 billion. No one cares. This is why I think that institutions at the same time have got a playground to do whatever they want, because who provides liquidity? Who's got liquidity? These big corporations, these big institutions. Clarity Act, Market Structure Bill, they're the things that change the game. By that point, though, they're already in, they already stacked their bags, and they've already made an absolute fortune in this market. So, yeah, I think institutions are super interesting. And I think longer term, that's why Saylor keeps buying. The risks that Saylor's got, and I think it's very, very telling that he didn't buy any BTC this week, even though he said he was going to. Why? Extreme volatility and expectation in the market. Even Saylor, as bullish as he is not stupid when it comes to investing. So, yeah, I think that's kind of where you get to with some of that stuff. Again, I mean, I could be wrong, but that's my opinion, I think. That's my opinion. Yeah, very big welcome to all new visitors and happy Christmas. Let's get it. Let's get it, baby. What have we got? Like 120 people in the stream right now, 125 people in the stream. So shout out to those people. Shout out to everybody. Really, really good to have you guys here. I really appreciate it. I really do. Okay, good. Right. I was looking at something else, but I've got another window here that I was looking at, and I can't think what I was looking for. Can anyone else think what I was looking for? See, that's another important thing to reference, by the way. If you were looking to 2026 as a bullish year, Michael S. Salig, now sworn in today to serve as the 16th chairman of the Commodities Futures Trading Commission. That's pretty interesting. He said, I'm grateful for the confidence President Trump has placed in me and for the opportunity to lead the CFTC at this pivotal time. Today begins a new chapter for the CFTC. We are in a unique moment. It is a wide range of novel technologies, products, and platforms are emerging. Retail participation in the commodities market is an all-time high. That's the problem. Everyone's going into stocks. We should have bought AI stocks, data center stocks, and everything else stocks, just not crypto. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's fine. Trump is expected to mention... I mean, that's not true, though, is it? That's just not true. That's not true. I love it. I mean, look, I'm going to read that out now, though, because I think fair play to you, John. Trump is expected to mention Svardin this week on the ICO is already almost sold out. There you go. Look, you see, that's pretty bullish, isn't it? I mean, fair play to you. Stacey said, sell everything for gold and silver. Just kidding. Absolutely FOMO the top. Full send the top on gold and silver. Why not? So yeah, Michael Salig, CFTC. So you got Paul Atkins, head of the SEC, Michael Salig, head of the CFTC. Both have got exposure to the crypto market. The debate, though, is who gets the chair from the Federal Reserve? Is it going to be Christopher Wallen? Is it going to be Kevin Hassett? Is it going to be Kevin Dvorscht? Is it going to be... Who's the newest guy that's in there? I can't remember his name now. Potential Fed... Who was it? Who was the... There was a new one as well. Who was it? Almost got taken out by one of the scammer accounts. Tried to open an account for me with $500 and then disappeared when I tried to withdraw. They're getting bored. What's that for? Man, I can't think who it was. Who was the... There's another guy that they've interviewed. Fed chair interviews. Yeah, so Christopher Waller we've talked about. Kevin Hassett, Kevin Dvorscht. Oh, Rick Ryder, that's it. Rick Ryder. He was also interviewed last week. He is BlackRock. That's right. That's right. Kevin Hassett, Coinbase. Rick Ryder, BlackRock. I mean, tell me something's not coming without telling me something's not coming. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Get out of here. I was offered Bitcoin at $5 back in the day, but I bought silver instead. There you go, future. Yeah, I remember, like I said, I did an interview yesterday that comes out in January on a new, I don't know if it's a TV show. I can't really think, I don't even know what it is, but anyway, I was interviewed by somebody just getting my views on markets. I think it goes out to like content creators and people that want to do like YouTube and stuff, which was pretty exciting. But one of the things I said to him was when I first got exposed to Bitcoin back in like 2015, when I remember seeing it and it was for a subscription for some sort of trance music magazine. And it was like, yeah, I'm all right with that. I'm all right with that. And then I saw it in 2017. That was kind of when I got back into the market. And then obviously got scammed on BitConnect. Crypto may be down, but I'm feeling better than the turkeys right now. Let's get it, Davo. 2 days, well, day and a half, and you're going to be tucking into that turkey, baby. You're going to love it. Although, I don't think Alas's mum and dad does turkey. I think they do something else. So, yeah, pretty interesting if you ask me. Pretty interesting if you ask me. Right. I was going to do something else, and now I've totally forgot what it is. Oh, I know what it is. I need to do that. I need to do that. And I need to do that. And that. Okay, cool. The guy from BlackRock, Rick. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, Rick Ryder. Yeah. Interesting. Crazy coin shops are buying silver under 5 under spot. Really? Is it? Yeah. I've got my turkey roll ready for Christmas. Nice. Can dry turkey and chicken instead. Gotta go. Merry Christmas. Jay Burns it. Man, hope you have a great Christmas, buddy. Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much. Appreciate you, bro. And let's catch up soon, definitely. Miles and I are having a little turkey and a pork. Cooked by his mum. Nice, bro. I don't know what we're having. It's not me that's doing it. We're, yeah, the advantage of not being at our house, it's like, great. I don't have to do it, but yeah. We will certainly see what we get. I like eating, what? I don't even know what that is. Andy Smith's in the building. What's going on, Andy? Good to see you, man. Right. I mean, it does look like Bitcoin is pushing down just a little bit. I mean, like I said, historically, we do generally see the market sell off into the Christmas period. But what else is going on? Okay, liquidations. I mean, look at this. Liquidations are pretty low, by the way. So we know that this is just a really low, slow market right now, because actually you're not seeing loads of high liquidation points come in, you know. So I think that's pretty interesting. Good. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, I don't know what that is. Sounds pretty interesting though. Do you talk as fast around the table? Yeah. Do you know, this is the I mean, everyone says I talk fast. I don't think I do talk fast. Maybe I do. Maybe I do. Do you know what talking fast does? What that would tell you though? And this is important, right? And this is a bit of human psychology. Because I talk fast, you know that what I'm saying is genuine. I'm not having to think about the words that I'm saying. I'm not having to try and pre-script what I'm saying. So what's coming out of my mouth is genuinely what I'm thinking in my head and what I know to be true. So if anything, it's actually a good thing. If people are like, well, let me just, not sure about, they're literally trying to think of an answer. Whereas I'm just like, bosh, that's my answer. Like, that's how I think. That's my thought process. I think it's a good news thing. I can't slow myself down. I just get too hyped up about things. That's my opinion anyway. Also means that someone is confident in what they're saying. Yeah, see? Exactly that, Magic Craig. Exactly that. But I'll try. I will make it my mission in 2026 to talk slower on my live streams. How's that? I'm definitely the sort of person that needs to think before I speak. Otherwise, I put both my feet. Yeah. Yeah. I can get that. I do that thing where like, I'm like, you need to say something. And the longer you think about saying something, especially if you're in like an awkward situation, like if I'm with my boss or something at work, don't slow down, man, we'll catch up. Yeah, you lot get quicker at reading and listening. Oh, dear me. Yeah, it's kind of an interesting theory, isn't it? Stay says, bro, my Solana bag is down bad. Are you staking your Solana though? I'm staking my Solana. So far for 2025, earned nearly $1,000 on it, which is pretty nice. As I'm staking my Aerodrome, I don't know what the price is right now on Aerodrome. Should we take a look? Again, long term, I think Solana is still undervalued, by the way. I still think it's a $600, $700, $800 coin. Just right now, it's really hard work, as is the broader market, by the way. But I have all of my Solana staked, have done for ages, and yeah, it's working out to be pretty good. Man, Aerodrome's at 8%. Are you kidding me? This was like 123% when I first started staking it, but hey, look at that. Got $140 sat there. I've been staking Aerodrome and ETH for the longest time, so yeah. And Solana is like 6%, no, sorry, 6.5%, I think it is. So yeah, it's not the worst number. Still in profit, but yeah, I mean, same. I mean, we were buying Solana at $8 here on the channel. I remember that. So my actual, my cost basis is pretty high on Solana, but yeah, I still think, the likes of Solana are going to do pretty well. I just think the market's, I don't know. I feel like 2026 could go one of two ways. We're either absolutely nuke into Goblin Town, or we are, in my opinion, going to see an upside run. But I do think we are due a bounce. Historically, we've always seen a bounce, and I don't believe this is a bounce. I think a bounce is the retest of 98K, which would be, this kind of upper 100-day exponential moving average line. If you go to the weekly, you'd argue and say, well, the 50-week moving average is probably what we want to see. I don't think I have this on the charts just for now, but yeah, we can put the 50-week moving average on there. So I think that's a proper retest, not sort of where we sit right now. Not forgetting you've taken a lot of your Aerodrome benefits out to give to the community. Well, I mean, that's true. Yeah, that's true. But yeah, it's good. It's just good when you can stake coins and you can try and make your coins work for you. I'm staking XCN, nothing else I can do with it. Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot. I mean, in fairness, I'm staking USDT right now for a 16% APR. It's not great, but it's better than nothing. I mean, some people may argue and say, well, put it in the market, you get 2%. But I think the market's pretty volatile at the minute. So, I've been saying now for ages. I mean, I started taking profits 108, I think it was 108, 109, something like that. I started moving into stablecoin. I haven't moved a lot. Probably 50% of my portfolio is in stablecoin. The rest is sat in big caps. So, I don't necessarily think that's a bad strategy. One of my biggest regrets of 21 was I was too late in stablecoin, which is why I was like, I'm not making the same mistake this time. And, you know, I want to position myself in a place where I've got flexibility. And I think in markets like this, flexibility is your friend. And I think you've just got to, you know, you've just got to be mindful and you've just got to be on it. And I think that's important. Don't forget, if you do want to, kind of trade any of these markets, by the way, we do have BITUNIX, which is our exchange partner. Check them out. Link in the description. Also, if you want to join our free Discord, links in the bio as well. But yeah, if you want to grab over and, you know, grab yourself an account, then check it out. I'd recommend it. Good. Good. All right, people. It's nearly 10 o'clock. We've been live about an hour and 15 minutes or something. An hour and 5 minutes. All right, cool. So we're chilling for a little bit. We're chilling. Deck, what's going on? It says Healy, everybody. Oh, no, it doesn't. It says hey. Oh, my God. I can't even read. Random crypto pops up in my DeFi wallet. Yeah, never trust it. If you ever want one rule for this market, if it's too good to be true, it 100% is not true. All right? Please, please, please be mindful. Please be mindful of your emails. So many phishing emails are going out. Hey, this is Coinbase. You've moved some money. Like, because loads of people are moving crypto around. So, you know, be mindful. Always go to the actual website before you click any links. I just have this one rule of thumb. Don't click any links. And I would always advocate anything you do with cryptocurrency, I would always start with another email address. Don't tie it into your main email address. Tie it into something else. It's way easier. It just keeps everything in one place then. So that's my view. Tim. I just saw that. 100%. Yeah. 100%. Yeah, don't forget, by the way, there's the link to the Discord. If you are interested, jump in. Yes, yeah, you can future profit. Yeah. Yeah, no KYC, available all over the globe. So yeah, click on that link, sign up, and yeah, you are golden with it. And if you do sign up with it, let me know, because I'll see if the team can do a little bit of a something for you. So as a regular member of the channel, we just closed our 30% rebate one. So yeah, let me know, and we'll see if we can do it. Also, in other news, by the way, my Elipal wallet turned up, but I wasn't in today, so they took it back to the post office and then just are going to re-deliver it tomorrow, which is super annoying because I don't even know if I'm going to be here tomorrow. But yeah, so that Elipal review will be coming soon, and I want to try and do it. We've got like $70, so I want to try and do something and order an Elipal for a channel member. I think that's going to be pretty cool, so we'll do that as well. Maybe like a New Year's kind of giveaway, so look out for that. That's going to be pretty exciting. I think that'd be good. But yeah, we'll do it to channel members. Good. All right. I mean, a little bit Magic Craig. Yeah. I mean, if you think about the fact that I can see it's got this asterisk out, it's funny if you think about what those words could be. Oh dear. Right. Okay. So we've done Bitcoin history, pre-markets are done. All of that is good news. We talked about liquidations. Bitcoin price is just chilling. Nothing too much going on. I would like to see a little bit more of a relief rally. Like, just come on, just move a little bit further to the upside. Get back to this kind of 86.5. Sorry, this 88.5. Maybe retest 89,000. Absolutely on the 20-day exponential moving average. That would be kind of good news. You've got a lot of indicators on these charts that are just like, which way are we going to go? Like, which way are we going to go? That's the big question right now. But, you know, hopefully we get an upside move. Hopefully we get a positive indicator in the market and, you know, we can go higher. But, yeah, let's see. Let's see. I mean, XDC's doing all right. Look at that. It's actually pumping right now. Bet's up there. XCN's up there. Yeah, a couple of memes are starting to move. I mean, Trump at 498 is an insane... I mean, it's just a joke, isn't it? Joke right now. Anyway, right. Good. All right. Well, any questions you guys have got? Any thoughts and views? Any opinions? Let's take a few questions while we're here. Let's see what people want to talk about. Let's not bring charts up and stuff. Let's see what you guys are all about. So ask away. Feel free. No question is a silly question. We're going to open the floor up for your questions. So TikTok, if you got anything, likewise, YouTube, got any questions, then let's answer some questions. All right. Let's answer some questions. Don't make them stupid questions, by the way, but let's just answer some cool questions and see what you guys think. Well, let's do like 15 minutes. Let's do 15 minutes of questions. Ask me anything. AMA. And then we're going to sign off for the Christmas period. So, yeah, let's do a little bit of that. Randall, I trade on BitUNIX and also on Mexi as well. So, yeah. Both good exchanges. BitUNIX is pretty good, actually, in fairness. I like the fact that they don't require a KYC. Especially, by the way, UK, January is fast approaching. And we all know what that means. They're going to be sending your details from those exchanges into the Department of Government Treasuries so that they know exactly what your P&L looks like. So be very much mindful. Be bullish. I'm very bullish. I'm always a half full man rather than half empty. So yeah, I tried crumpets and ranch. It's pretty good. I don't believe you. I don't believe you for a second. No way. No way that's okay. In my opinion. In my opinion. Crumpets with a little bit of butter on. You do not know what you're missing out on. BTC, yeah, I mean, look, again, we've been talking about this. I will bring the charts back up. So BTC is just trending sideways, doing nothing. Whatever it is, I do think that we've got an infraction moment in the course of the next 48 hours, though. I do think so, especially where we see this pattern. Now, what you could get, I guess, is you could see this kind of trade a little bit as it tightens up. And, you know, you start to maybe look at a Boxing Day, 27, 28, 29th of December, upward side retest into 2026. Maybe that's something that's happened. Jack, what's going on, man? Thank you so much for the heart me's. Appreciate it, bro. So, you know, maybe this is kind of what plays out right now. I mean, really quickly, let's take a look at historically. I think we did this the other night, but I don't remember. I think I did it on the weekly, didn't I? So September 24, October 24, November 24. Where's December? I mean, this should be December. Okay. So December 25th was a small marginal move. So Christmas Eve was actually a decent upside move. So we went from 93,588 to 99,000. So we actually had a pretty strong move on Christmas Eve. Oh my God, that was a big move actually on Christmas Eve. What was that? Christmas Eve 2024 was, bruh, it was like a 6% move. That is insane. So 24 Christmas Eve was good. Let's see what November 23. Okay, here we go. Now, obviously, previous moves in the market don't necessarily depict what current moves could be, but 23rd. So we got a dump on Christmas Eve in 23, followed by a pump Christmas Day. Dump, pump, dump, pump, dump, dump, pump, 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 dump, dump, pump, pump. There we go. So, you know, a mixed bag. Maybe we get a pump, maybe we get a dump. Who knows? I guess we'll have to wait and see. Damien, thank you for the heart, man. I appreciate it, bro. Thank you so much. To be familiar with Canton Networks, easy backed by Goldman Sachs, BNY, Nasdaq. Not super up to it. No, sorry, man. I'm not. Damien, yeah, man. I appreciate that. Thank you so much, bro. I appreciate it. Man, you guys are super bullish. Honestly, we have the best community in the world. Just my opinion. Just my opinion. Don't forget, join the Discord if you want to get in. It is totally free to do so, by the way. Highly recommend it. Highly recommend it. Okay. Good. You guys are very chatty with your questions. I thought you might have loads of questions, you guys. You all know me too well. Probably being too transparent. Tara, how you doing? Yeah, I'm doing great. Thank you so much. I'm wearing the Christmas jumper and I'm feeling marginally festive. I've got one more day at work. The 9 to 5 grind is tomorrow, but it won't be a 9 to 5 grind. I think it's a 7 to... Man, I've got such a long day driving tomorrow. So I've got to drive from where I'm at now to my mum and dad's house to drop some presents off, which is about 50 miles. I then drive from their house to Manchester where I work, which is about 100 miles. I've then got to do my day's work till about 2 o'clock-ish. And then I've got to drive, I don't even know actually. Should we see how far it is? It's pretty far though. But I mean, what's good, I'll be listening to loads of podcasts. The other thing I do, and people might think I'm a lunatic, is I talk to ChatGPT. Super interesting. It's like having a conversation with it. And you can start to ask it about loads of like macro stuff, which I think is fun. So yeah, so let's see how far I've got to do that. It's 160 miles. So yeah, M Kriegs, it's awful. So I'll do tomorrow. I'll do. Yeah. So 50 miles from here to my mum and dad's house, 80 miles from their house into Manchester where I work. So that's like 130 and then 160. So 300 miles I'll do tomorrow in the car as a day's work. 300 miles, bro. What? Oh, anyway, at least I can listen to some exciting things. So, I mean, maybe, no, it's going to be, I would say maybe we do like a little bit of a call in the Discord. That would be kind of fun. I've got like 4 hours driving. I mean, literally it's going to take me forever to drive to, how long does it think it's going to take me? 3 hours and 2 minutes. Yeah. So It's not a sweater, Alvin. It's not a sweater. It's a Christmas jumper. 300 miles, nothing burger. Yeah, I know. If you drive across the US, like 300 miles is like a trip to the shops, isn't it? I would walk 500 miles and I'd walk 500 more. Yeah, 100%. Davo, thanks, man. Drive safe. Yeah, I don't drive for a living, but I drive every single day by quite a considerable margin. So my, it's all good fairground. My old car, after having it for 3 years, had done 106,000 miles when I gave it back. Cursing out other drivers. Yeah, I'm not great in fairness at that sort of stuff. I'm not great at that sort of stuff. Can you even do that, Tomato Pete? I don't know if you can. What is the date of January's FOMC? It's like the 22nd or something. It is 28th. I was close. Look at this. Less likely to see rate cuts because we've obviously had a massive stimulus in the market and GDP's going through the roof. Everyone's like, oh, it's fine. Like, it's totally fine. No one needs to bring interest rates down. Jerome, no. Bring them down. I buy my cars at that stage. Honestly, I was always in a world where I would never buy corporate fleet cars, right? I can tell you this, right? Although my car that I handed back had done a lot of mileage, it was absolutely perfect. They get serviced so I have a BMW, serviced at a BMW garage every single time it needs doing. Any new tires it gets done, any work that he's doing. Like, they are solid cars. And you can get them at a discount because they've got loads of miles on them. My boss drives 3 hours each way from home to work. That's crazy. Yeah, that's wild. That's wild. I used to, the longest I ever did was like 2.5 hours. I used to spend 5 hours a day in the car. Like, that was when I was going from where I lived to Wales. Like, basically, like, literally driving miles and going to Wales every day. I was practically going to a different country. So, yeah, all fun. Right at the end of January, I was hoping that it had been here at the beginning. January is usually a really long month. Yeah, I mean, it is. Thing is, though, don't forget, we want to actually get a bit of data going through. We want to try and get a little bit of sentiment in the market. What's the view? What's the economic view of January? You know, what is the predictions of 2026 as a potential economic move? I mean, don't forget, I'll tell you what would be interesting. Let's take a look at, let me see if I can see this. Global GDP growth expectations. Let's see what the globe's predicting. So remember, 2.8 is what the expectation of the macro forecast is. US has been revised now to whatever it was today, 2.8, which is pretty crazy. So you haven't got a lot outside of India, China, Spain's there or thereabouts. That's it. I mean, the UK is at 0.9%. So yeah, I mean, 2.4 in Spain, 4.8 in China, 2.6 in the US, revised now 2.8. So yeah, interesting. Core inflation is going to be one to keep an eye out for. Sub Legends, sadly, we'll have an empty seat at the dinner table this year, as my nan will be looking down us. Just learned that that a stair lift can't be fixed until January. Absolute chopper. Oh man, I was already in my head going, what a way to end the stream. What a way to end the stream. Get out of here, Stu. Love it, mate. Love it. Oh dear. Feels like they are pressing down in order to max their deals. Yeah, maybe. Look, I talked about that. I thought the market was manipulated. I still believe the market is. I mean, whether you believe it's truly by design manipulated, whether you believe that there is an agenda to manipulate it, I think it's just hard to move from all of the macro bullishness we've had. And every uptrend has been a good news story, followed rapidly by a significant decline in the market. Like, you kind of can't get into a world where you don't believe there is an element of manipulation. Like, we have to believe that. So, yeah, pretty interesting, if you ask me. And like I said, until we get the clarity out, we'll probably see it in 2026 as well. I mean, we're not going to see it just dissipate overnight, but yeah, we'll see. We will see. Yeah, I was just looking at wallets, see what Wintermute was doing, see if anything has been moved around. So, not a ton. You can see a little bit there. USDT going in, a bit of ETH going from Kraken into Wintermute. Wintermute to Binance, some Ethereum. So, yeah, nothing super crazy, which I guess probably is a little bit more supportive and probably sticks to a slightly cooler narrative. We don't want to see anything super, super crazy, but yeah. Milk chocolate digestive biscuits. Decent, yeah, in a brew, yeah. In a brew. Hope Santa is generous with XRPers. Yeah, so do I. What did you ask for Santa for? $3 XRP. Let's hope we get it, eh? Let's hope we get it. Right then, everybody. It is officially just gone 10 past 10 here. That is us alive for an hour and 20 minutes. BTC is on a bit of a decline right now, so keep your heads held high. So need to fill out a 2026 movement dates count. Yeah, let's do it. We can do that. Definitely. Definitely. Ciao. 2 bit tomorrow, big day. You'll come. Day Y will come in England for holidays. Well, day after, if you're talking about Christmas Day, but yeah, I'm excited. But yeah, that's it. That is it for this stream. Again, thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. I massively appreciate it. There is only one thing left to say, and that is I wish every single person here on YouTube, here on TikTok, a unbelievably good Christmas. And I truly mean that from the bottom of my heart. You guys don't know what you do for me on this channel. It has been humbling to death that you guys will come out, that you guys watch the channel, that you guys support me. And do you know what? I'm really excited for what 2026 looks like. We'll talk a bit more as we sort of get towards the end of the year, but I'm super excited about what 2026 looks like. I'm more motivated than I've ever been to create great content, and hopefully we all, including you and I, deserve the best 2026. 2025 probably has let us down a little bit, but look, let's go and have an amazing Christmas. I hope you have an amazing time with your family. Spend it with a loved one. Spoil your kids. I absolutely intend to do it on my side. And let's absolutely make sure we're back. I will be back live streaming on the 27th. Look out. The only thing I will say is look out, because if everyone's just sat watching some terrible TV program, I may go live tomorrow night. But I'll announce it in the Discord. I'll announce it on social media. But look, if I don't, have a great Christmas. We'll be away for 3 days. We're back on the 27th. I can't wait. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great Christmas. Merry Christmas to all, and a Merry Christmas. I'll catch you guys in the next stream, which could be tomorrow, or it might be on Saturday, the 27th. See you soon.